Good morning, welcome to Bibury in the Cotswolds, famous mainly for, well, a trout farm that's down there, but also this very nice little row of houses that people come for miles around to have their photo taken in front of, all posing on a bridge like some sort of lunatic. So that's what we're doing today.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
This is Poulton Row, which is the National Trust cottages along the side here, where every coach party and their dogs are coming down. This is the little river running around the corner, and there's Postman Pat who's up there delivering his letters. Just a little round walk. See where all the coaches are dropping everyone off and coming to explore the wonders of trout farming. Here is the trout farm and assorted ornamental gardens, which are very pretty. It is basically just a lot of trouts in lakes, and then you can go around and feed them if you want. A little bit surreal, but they're really into trout. What can you do? Here we have some cygnets. Now there is a fourth cygnet. You can also see 1, 2, 3. Number 4 is, believe it or not, under her wings there, having a bit of a snooze. He does every now and again pop his head out, but he doesn't seem really into it at the moment. So this was a grandstand, effectively possibly the first ever built in this country, and they used to race dogs and deer along here, and this would have been the finish line. And that was the only reason this was built, was for gambling in the estate of the original house. And he used to invite his guests here, and they'd come for a gamble, and they'd come out and they'd watch the racing. And it was basically a party house, which is quite remarkable, as are the bluebells, which look amazing. So we went and had a brief look at the Sherborne estate house, but it's sold off and you can't actually, it's all private apartments now. We couldn't get very close. So we've come to Bourton on the water to go and have afternoon tea. We've just been having afternoon tea here in a cafe in Bourton. Delahaye's Cafe Tea Room. Quality, delicious food. It's where we've been anyway. And this is Bourton, which we were here about just under 2 years ago. It's very nice and picturesque, even in the slight drizzle. We've explored all the antiques, most of which are, as you might expect, rubbish. Some lovely old buildings around here though. It's the old Newent. Good morning, we're all packed up pretty much and ready to go to the Three Choirs. It's the last shot of our fantastic little cottage, this. The Hermitage in Poulton. Oh, it's one of those dishwashers that over there. It's display the time on the ground. It's exciting. Just display red. Anyway, we're off. We're going to go and find some more Cotswoldian places to explore. This is the Rococo Gardens in Painswick, and it's quite early because we left at 10 o'clock. It's just 10:30. It's still a bit chilly, to be honest, but it's not raining, so one step at a time. And we're just going to have a bit of a wander round. This are they. So here we are, these are the Rococo Gardens in Painswick, restored in the mid-late 80s. They've disappeared into woodland for a couple of hundred years, but they were built originally in the 17th century, and they're in the Rococo style, which is basically frilly Baroque, and it's built by a bloke who wanted some crazy gardens, and he's done pretty well out of the deal. This is his random red house with a castling around the edge. Overlooks the gardens. So this is the maze. We've come across the beautiful gardens to try and work our way into this maze. Now the maze is very clever because there's two types of hedge with different colours, and so there's a big number spelt out in light hedge colour, which is this was built for the 250th anniversary, so spoiler alert, it says 250 from above. I don't know where we've got to get to, like there's three middles. At the moment we're just going around the edge. Okay, we found the two. Now I think this is the middle of the zero. Hurrah! We haven't found how you get to the middle of the 5, which is somewhere over here. Hurrah, we've made it to the middle. There's a fox and a pond that isn't got any water in.
It's like it should be more specialised.
So we've now made it to all the numbers. Now we just got to get out again, and then we can go up there and have a look at where we've just been. There you go, you can see 250. And somehow we made it to all the appropriate bits. Off into the Bluebell Woods. You can see where we've come up from. It's quite a bluebelly. They're nearly fully out, very close. Within a day or two.
When the sun comes out.
Yeah, that'd be nice if the sun came out again. This is inside the red house. So it's got some nice stained glass windows that all say things in Italian, which I'm trying my best to translate. From the sublime to the ridiculous. Here we are on the northbound Gloucester services on the M5. As everybody well knows, probably the best service station in the United Kingdom. Although I've never been, so this will be an interesting experience. So there's the farm shop where we bought some brownies and some iced tea and what have you. That's the main eatery, and we just had lunch. And then there's a quick kitchen as well. It is all in all very good. And it's dug into a hill, as you might be able to see here. It's a dry stone wall and it's grass covered. Anyway, we've had lunch, so we are heading off to the vineyard in Newent. We're back at the vineyard for, we think it's our 5th or 6th time. Kind of lost track. I'm going to go check in. So here we're inside the winemaking facilities at Three Choirs. You can see lots of different bottles, many rosés and sparkling wines and
it's not blood,
all sorts.
It's a red wine. Wine in the blood.
And even brandy. Really. So that's the red wine and the brandy that's aging in oak, mostly from the USA but from France. And then we bought some other English wine the other day called 16 Ridges, which is from just up the road in Ledbury, and that's also made here, as you can see. And that's their sparkling rosé. And these are the big
certain amount of yeast sugar.
sparkling wines that are being slowly rotated to take the lees out. And this is the other wine that we had the other day, the vineyard we walked past. It's Cirencester. This is it. Also being made here. Because most people have big vineyards, but they don't have wine making facilities like this. So we're just working our way through our tasting list. Essentially, this is the cuvee, which we had for the wedding, obviously. Several wines later. So we basically tried almost everything at this point. Here is the field of sheep. Some of them haven't been shorn and shorn rather, and looking a little scraggly. The lambs are looking quite chubby. We're heading back to the lodge. Maybe have some cake. We're just walking up from the lodges, which are down there, up to the vineyard restaurant up here for dinner. Hopefully, the next thing I'll show you will be the time lapse I've left going. Although I don't actually imagine it'll get to the dark point because the battery looks like it's sad enough. But why not have a little time lapse anyway? We are slowly walking back after eating a lot of food in the restaurant. And it's dry, which is quite surprising. But it's quite dark. And we've got to go down there towards the lights. And wandering back in the increasingly light morning. You can see that the vines are very, very early stages with the little sprouts just coming off. It's been such a weird start of the year that I haven't really woken up yet, I don't think. I'm just going for a bit of a wander around to take some photos because whilst the sun hasn't come out, it is lighter. There's our lodge, that's Gloucester. And then you have Hereford and Worcester down there. Yeah, the sun's nearly out. It's trying. I'm just trying to stand at the walk here because it's a bit damp. The water sort of runs through these lakes one after the other. And that tree's come down completely. There's some sheep over here. There's usually a lot of rabbits in this field, which I'm about to upset. Don't know if they're up yet. We'll find out. There's a lot of fruit trees around the edge of the vineyard, which obviously is good for the pollinators. Get the bees in, pollinate everything, get a lot of fruit. That appears to be some sort of beehive, so that's also good. We're off to row 31 to find my vine and say hello, having bought lots of wine, some of it which may have come from the vine. It is a Zigaroba grape, and we have 2 bottles that have that in them, so who knows? Who knows? I mean, effectively it's all mashed together, so you probably do have a bit of it. But I've got to go and put a new sign on because the other one's probably a bit faded to show to officially badge it English single estate wines. I wasn't aware that that was a thing, but clearly it is. So there we go. It's got some good buds. Excellent budding. We've come to Burford and have a look at the church. This is St John the Baptist Church in Burford and the associated very old churchyard. I think what I was overhearing, it was started by the Normans, so it's a very old church indeed. Some of these buildings around here, 1500s, so that's quite impressive. The cafe, however, looks very new. We're on the top of the hill in Burford, looking back down. You can see the amazing rows of like mixture of like very old, moderately old, and some newish properties. Stretch all the way down the hill and all the way up the hill. The back street to Burford. There's the church. Just heading back to the car to do some lunch things. Here we are, we've made it back as far as Kew Green. Apparently it's been really miserable here today. Oh well, we missed that. Pouring with rain and horrible winds. Anyway, we're back because we figured we might just nip in and have a look at Cambridge Cottage 1 year to the day. So that's what we're going to do. The bells are out. Pink, white and blue. The badges are in. It's not super busy because of the weather this morning, apparently. So somebody's having a conference, selfishly, actually in the cottage itself. But I don't know whether they've finished yet. It's 4:45, so they might be nearly done, but still. Well, then they might be doing it this evening, who knows? Looks very similar, except that shrubbery over there has grown up a bit more than it had last year. There's a lot of chairs, but there's no people. No, there are, but that's the office. So maybe they are done. Maybe they've gone for tea. And it is just coming out to 7:30, and here we are opposite the Ham Common. There's lots of interesting looking cows. And we're coming to the Petersham for our anniversary meal. This is where we were nearly 365 days ago. I don't know what time we got here, but it was probably about midnight in the end by the time we got back. Obviously I was here in the cellar with RHP in December, but haven't been into the main restaurant since we had breakfast on the 1st of May 2017. See the sunset reflecting off the windows over there. Here is the Petersham. Everyone's gone to bed, so it's a bit late. I'll show you the staircase again because, you know, it's remarkable. One of the largest freestanding staircases in Europe. It's amazing. And the restaurant is down there. Good morning. No more fun holidays today. I'm back and I'm going to work. It's 20 to 7. A couple of interesting facts about today. Today it's the 1st of May, so had I been born on Mercury, I would be 158 years old. Mercurian years, that is. And fact number 2, today I'm going to Rugby to film, which is why I'm up at a rather hostile 6:30 in the morning. So, off we go. Here we are again. So, I haven't done much walking today. Invoicing and tax returns and gardening on the balcony, which I should probably show you the fruits of my labour, but you know, things have to establish a bit, so we'll come to that. and there are now sunny spells, although the last spell seems to have lasted from me leaving the front door to getting here, and it looks like it's about to end, but there's probably more. So I thought I'd just come down, have a bit of a nose at the new bits. We're obviously coming to the Temperate House official opening on Friday, which is, you know, mega exciting, but that's the inside. I'm going to have a nose around the outside. And also, look at the light through the tree. Isn't that lovely? It's great. Plus, most of the pagoda should be exposed in a moment. We had such a great weekend. It's going to be hard to adjust back to normality for, you know, the next few days. We do have a lot of good weekends coming up though. We've got a spa day, weekend after next. Then we're going to Centre Parks, which I am unreasonably excited about. And yeah, and this coming weekend is a bank holiday weekend, and the weather is forecast to be amazing. So, you know, all in all, pretty good going. I noticed there's a sat truck here. So, they're doing question time. Oh, that's right, doing question time I think on Thursday in the Temperate House. Odd, granted, but you know, I guess it's free publicity. It's a bit like though you've gone to a lot of trouble to put lots of beautiful things in and then you fill it with poison, but there we go. Looks impressive though, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Yep, it's going to be good. I'm very much looking forward to Friday now. They've taken down all the remaining barriers, you can see. They're just doing it now. They've put all the seats in for question time at the moment, and they're just finishing the turfing, which I'm currently walking on, around the hills and what have you. Looks fantastic. Check out the sparkly goldness and the dragons glistening in the late sun. Gonna get a little bit closer, have a bit of a nose. Don't think the bottom is quite open yet, but well, I know it's not, but most of it is. And I just love the dragons. I think they're brilliant, and it's so much more opulent than it was. It felt for a long time like it was a sort of unloved anachronism that was sort of stuck away at the ends of the garden. Like, oh yeah, we've got a pagoda, but you can't go in it and the paint's peeling and what have you. And now look at it, it's like, wow. Wow. That is quite crazy. So, very much looking forward to that opening in a month. It's so different on top of the treetop walkway in the sun in the spring versus in the cold in the winter. For a start, your view is actually slightly blocked, but you actually feel like you're amongst the trees, which is very pleasant. And apart from seeing the, monuments of Brentford, you can actually see all of the Temperate House and the pagoda when you come around the side here. I will never tire of spring in this country. It's remarkable. I just found some wild garlic hiding under a tree, so excellent, having that for dinner. And yeah, I'm out foraging for my food. It's just so nice. And now the sun's come out again, you can smell the flowers, the pollen from the flowers. Sorry if you're a hay fever sufferer, I really genuinely do pity you. But look at the blue everywhere, it's amazing, I love it. This is the Mediterranean garden, and this amazing pink bush. We had some photos taken of during the wedding actually, because it's so striking, and when the sun comes out, as you can see, it looks amazing. So it's actually, yeah, I mean, it's in full bloom. It wasn't when we were here last week. Everything's about a week late this year. It's lovely. this is the real growth moment in spring. The plants have finally worked out there's no more frost. Well, I hope they're right. Suddenly everything's a metre tall. Meanwhile, it is polling day here in London. It is the local council elections in both, I think, every borough in London, and then about a third of the boroughs in the rest of England. And I don't think Wales, or maybe Wales as well, not Scotland though. It's rather confusing the way that local polling works in this country. You only really know your own area and not what's going on elsewhere. But it happens somewhere every year. If you live in London, and historically there was basically an election, or at least one election every year pretty much. Certainly it'd average out that way, because you'd have the Greater London Authority and Mayor, you'd have the local borough council, you'd have the general election, and you'd have the European elections. But we don't have to vote in the European elections anymore because of, you know, idiots. But I'm reasonably confident, I have to say, that within my lifetime I will be voting in the European elections again. In fact, maybe sooner than most people imagine. My phone's misbehaving, so who knows whether this is actually recording, but in case it is, I've just been to vote. Because, as I mentioned, it is local election day. It's always weird with these local elections, because in our ward you vote for 3 candidates, and that's reasonably normal. Some smaller wards you get 2. And I have been discussing with a friend of mine who is a local councillor about how much alphabet bias there is, because obviously if there's 3 candidates, then every party puts up 3, and that means generally that each person who is alphabetically first in each party scores more than the others. And the reason for that is twofold. Number one, some people split their vote, which means they tend to vote for the first people that appear in any list. And secondarily, some people don't realise they need to vote for 3 candidates. So very often the third one gets missed. Sometimes 2 get missed. So if you're thinking of standing as a local councillor, then my strong advice to you is change your surname to something beginning with an A, or at least a B, and then you stand a much better chance of being elected. Isn't it weird how terrible our election system is? Don't even get me started on first past the post and how ridiculous it is and how disproportionate it is for what people actually voted for. They could at least do proportional representation for local elections. Seems absurd to me, but there we go. Good morning. Happy Results Day. If you're a local councillor, or you once were. Probably doesn't seem that happy to a lot of people. It's a really hard council election to read. Suffice to say, both Labour and the Tories thought that they would better beat each other up, and they did. But they didn't really take much off each other. Whilst they end up still controlling the majority of councils, it's not a day that either of them can easily present as victory, unless victory is not going backwards. I now live in a borough that is not controlled by the Conservatives anymore, which is both exciting and I'm a bit nervous, if I'm honest, because as my work for RHP, obviously the relationship with the council is key. We have a new council, so we don't know how this relationship is going to work yet, so we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, there's still lots of councils that haven't declared the results, so we'll see as the day progresses how things go. As always, it does somewhat change the makeup of the people I know in this ward, in so much as yesterday I knew 2 councillors pretty well, both very good people and very good councillors, and today I know 1, and it's not either of the 2 that I knew yesterday, so that's strange. This happens all the time in council elections, partly because of our absurd first past the post system, as I whinged about yesterday. But a lot of people who are actually very good at their jobs lose their jobs, and a lot of people who've never done those jobs before in their life suddenly get them. And it is pretty much the only industry where there's no qualification threshold at all. There's reasons for this, but it's still alarming. There's no competency threshold, which is more concerning. And if you sit on a board or do something appropriate, something similar, then there's a good and proper test in terms of are you of sound mind and what have you, which doesn't seem to apply in politics. And I don't know whether there maybe should be. There are reasons that there are no obvious tests, and that is to make sure that everyone could stand if they wanted to. Anyhow, I'm still waiting on Manchester is an interesting one, and Three Rivers, where my parents live. I should imagine they'll declare in the next few hours when everyone wakes up again. This is Suffolk Cathedral Borough Market. I'm in the cathedral for a meeting this morning because apparently you can hire out rooms in Suffolk Cathedral, so we're about to find out exactly where though. It is open. Promising. Oh, there's the shard as well, by the way. Now, how do we get in? Well, won't you look at that view? It's where London kind of comes into its own. A remarkably interesting patchwork quilt of a city, but in the sunshine it looks great. There's probably not many bits of the Thames that look like they did 100 years ago, but every now and again you find like the old wooden plinths that would have held a pier to bring boats up, and some old wall as you do around here. And to be fair, there's a bit on the other side, but as you can see it's surrounded now by all the fancy buildings. Even the old warehouses are now bars. This is Queen's-Hithe, which was an old port in the medieval and Saxon eras, and all that remains is a sort of stony beach now, with their piles that you can see pushed in to stop there, well, partly to stop the beach disappearing, and then also they would have held old boardwalks and things for offloading. You don't get many spots like this in London, and it's genuinely amazing that it's still in this state, and that's partly because it's been conserved as such. But just imagine how much somebody would want to build some luxury flats here. So as you can see, I've come quite a long way down now. Approaching Waterloo Rail Bridge and the London Eye, obviously, and we're heading to Westminster Bridge because I figured it's a beautiful day. I haven't got to be anywhere with any urgency, so why not get the boat home? That's right, I can get a boat back to Kew. It's very long and very slow and moderately expensive, but I've never done it, and so today is that day, hopefully, if I can find a cash point.
Yeah, Connaught carries up to 195 persons. We carried life-saving equipment, including life rafts, life jackets and buoyant apparatus.
This is familiar territory. This is my walk, usually, in amongst the trees there. the north side of the Thames between Barnes Bridge and Chiswick Bridge. And you can see Mortlake Brewery coming into sight, or what was the Mortlake Brewery. So we're not far from Kew now, and you can see the water is very still, and it's still a very nice day. Good choice, this boat. We're nearly back. You can see Kew Bridge, Kew Railway Bridge next up, and the next stop after that is Kew Pier for boats, as it's so kindly labelled. Here we are, final stop. First stop as well. First and final stop for me. And then I've got to walk back along the towpath and get some lunch.
Yeah, we have to be here by
Spring looks amazing today, and for the first time it really smells of spring, and that's wonderful. It's so green, I love it. Anyway, it's Friday and we are going into the Temperate House opening later, but it was also polling day, which I keep going on about, and I'll probably cover again at some point next week. Just the most hard to read election results ever, other than not much really changed, apart from Richmond. So I think we should do the word of the week, and I think the word of the week should be election. So first of all, in German, wow, did you see that squirrel? That was very sorry, distracted. So the word of the week is election. So first of all, in German, the election is die Wahl. Die Wahl. That is election in German. And in Italian, election is le elezioni. Le elezioni. That is election in Italian. There we go. That was this week's word of the week. That was a very nice hour and a half boat ride from Westminster, and the only time I've ever got the boat home whilst living in London. It's obviously pretty much the slowest way to get back, but on a day like today, it's probably one of the most beautiful. I mean, walking will be good and slower, but walking is about 12 miles, so the boat was a very good choice. This is Temperate House Gate, the original entrance to Kew. So originally when the gardens were designed, this is how you'd enter. You'd have the Marion North Gallery on the right, Keeper's Lodge on the left, and then this fantastic walk down to the Temperate House. And now, of course, these gates aren't used. And the reason is because the District Line station that was supposed to be at the end of that road, they decided to move it north and rather scuppered the whole thing. So it's nice to get to use this entrance. You can still smell the paint. So there we go, this is the new Temperate House. It is pretty spectacular and massive, and it's 5 buildings, 5 different glass houses effectively set together. And the sun's just setting, and the lights they've got on the plants are starting to look really nice. Anyway, it's open properly now, so if you come to Kew, you can come and see it.